In a world where justice depends heavily on the skills and ethics of attorneys, it is both sobering and necessary to ask a difficult question. Why can't attorneys be trusted? Look, I get it. There are plenty of lawyers out there fighting the good fight. The Atticus Finches of the world. But sadly, they share the same ecosystem as the bottom feeders, because the unfortunate reality is that trust in the legal profession has eroded for many clients, and for good reason. From shady billing practices to outright conflicts of interest, the legal profession seems to have developed a taste for loopholes bigger than a lawyer's Rolodex. Below, we explore the deeper reasons behind this distrust, pulling back the curtain on a profession that too often prioritizes self-interest over service. Buckle up, folks, because where we're going, the only thing thicker than the law books is the stench of questionable ethics. You know that whole attorney-client privilege thing? It's supposed to mean your lawyer is legally bound to fight for your best interest. Sounds great on paper, right? Except when your lawyer also happens to be golfing buddies with opposing counsel, or maybe they're eyeing a cushy partnership at the firm they're supposed to be eviscerating in court. Suddenly, that whole zealous advocate thing starts to feel a lot more like apathetic acquaintance. This isn't some hypothetical scenario, folks. Attorneys are constantly juggling multiple clients, interests, and obligations. And sometimes, those obligations get tangled up like Christmas lights in a hurricane. When financial, political, or personal interests creep in, the client's case often takes a backseat to the lawyer's own ambitions. Let's talk about how lawyers get paid, shall we? It's not by solving your problems quickly. I can tell you that much. No, they bill by the hour. And much like that friend who insists on telling you a story that could have been an email, some lawyers have a knack for stretching things out. Suddenly, that simple contract dispute turns into a multi-year saga, with more twists and turns than a season of Law and Order. Don't even get me started on those itemized bills, with charges for phone calls and research that would make your eyes water. We've all seen those lawyer commercials, right? The ones with the dramatic music and the promises of record settlements and justice served. It's enough to make you think you've stumbled onto the set of a superhero movie, not a law firm's website. But here's the thing about those grandiose claims: they're often about as substantial as a house of cards in a wind tunnel. The reality is, litigation is messy, unpredictable, and rarely results in a Hollywood ending. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and lawyers know how to capitalize on that desperation. They dangle the carrot of a quick win, knowing full well that the path to justice is usually paved with delays, setbacks, and a whole lot of legal jargon. Chapter 4. Lack of transparency. The legal version of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Remember those opaque billing practices we talked about earlier? They're just the tip of the iceberg, my friends. The legal profession seems to have a penchant for secrecy that would make even a covert ops team blush. Clients are often left in the dark about the status of their own cases, bombarded with legal jargon they don't understand, and given vague updates that raise more questions than they answer. It's like being trapped in parta in kakar dinakan bridojit tot karke farkenas karke Kafka novel, only with higher stakes and less existential dread. Chapter 5. Systemic problems. When the game itself is rigged. Now, I'm not saying that all lawyers are inherently bad people, but the legal system itself is kind of like a casino. The house always has an advantage. The adversarial nature of the system, coupled with the pressure to bill hours and win cases, creates an environment where ethical lines get blurry. Even well-intentioned lawyers can find themselves caught in a system that rewards aggression over empathy and profits over people. It's enough to make you want to scream objection at the top of your lungs, even if you're not entirely sure what you're objecting to. Chapter 6. Incompetence masquerading as expertise. Beware of lawyers with more hubris than experience. Here's a sobering thought. Not all lawyers are created equal. In fact, some are just plain bad at their jobs. They overpromise, underdeliver, and leave a trail of frustrated clients in their wake. They're like the legal equivalent of that friend who swears they can fix your plumbing, but ends up flooding your bathroom. These legal professionals often take on cases outside their area of expertise, relying on charm and bluster to mask their lack of competence. Outro. Trust, but verify. Protecting yourself in a system designed to exploit you. Look, I'm not saying that every lawyer is out to fleece you. There are plenty of good ones out there who genuinely care about their clients and uphold the highest ethical standards. But the legal profession, with its arcane rules and perverse incentives, often seems designed to erode trust and empower those who would exploit it. It's not paranoia to demand transparency and accountability from the people entrusted with your legal well-being. It's common sense. Remember, the stakes are too high to blindly trust a system that often rewards the very opposite.